Okay guys, welcome back to the Built on Boxes YouTube channel. I'm going to talk about ice cream today. I've gotten so passionate about trucking that it's the bulk of what I talk about, but the truth is that it was always my intention to feature our food businesses on this channel and to feature our ice cream truck. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to give you guys some ideas, maybe 3 to 5 tips about how you can start your own ice cream business, what you can expect to make, what you can expect it to cost, and sort of the steps that you're going to need along the process. So without going too much further, let's just go ahead and get into it. Guys, I got a special treat for you today. We're unveiling the ice cream truck. So there. Now, I'm at U-Haul. We're getting ready to get a hitch put on, and that way we can run our generator on the back here. But this is the I've had a lot of people ask me on the channel for some information on the ice cream business, because we're sort of like our awakening into how much money and freedom can be associated with starting your own business and working for yourself and not having to worry too much about having a boss and all that stuff. And so this video is really going to be about sort of the costs and benefits, what you can expect to make depending on your market, and what it takes to run an ice cream business. So number one, you need to make sure that your business is set up properly. And so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up an LLC in order to give yourself that entity protection. You want to make sure that you have a good commercial insurance policy, that they know exactly what you're going to be doing, and you want to make sure that you are set up from a liability perspective to protect yourself. Now, there's not a ton of liability, especially when you're doing pre-packaged ice cream, because you know, you don't make the product and you're not preparing the product, so you don't really have a liability. That's why it's a great business, because it's low liability, it's low cost. You only buy ice cream when you sell ice cream, and so as long as your margins are right, you can really do well with it. You are going to go out into neighborhoods. You know, you might bump into somebody's mailbox, you might have an accident on the way, so there are things that you need to consider. God forbid you might back into somebody or into somebody's car or something. Some of these neighborhoods are kind of tight, so that's the first thing you need to do. The second thing that is really important is picking the right vehicle. Now, you know, I'm talking to you about this, and I'm standing in front of a $40,000 truck. So this is not the first vehicle we started with. I'll actually show a picture on the screen right here of the first vehicle that we started with. It was a 1992 Chevy G30 van that was a minibus that was actually decked out. Now, I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, so everything about the University of Tennessee plays here, and so that's why the name of all my businesses is Big Orange something. So if my trucking business, it's Big Orange Transport. In my ice cream business, it's Big Orange Ice Cream. There are 4 things that really play here, and 3 of the 4 are really associated with the Tennessee football program. One is going to be volunteer, because they're the Tennessee Volunteers. So anything that you have in business that you're going to label as volunteer this, volunteer home improvement, whatever, doesn't matter what it is. If it's called volunteer, it's going to play well in East Tennessee. The second thing is Rocky Top, and you know, good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. That's the theme song for the football team. And so anything you have that you're going to name Rocky Top heating and air conditioning or something, you know, doesn't matter what it is, Rocky Top landscape. If you do that, you're probably going to play well. And then the other one is Big Orange. Now, the other thing that really plays well, that is sort of used a lot, is Smoky Mountain this, or Smoky this, or Smoky that. That doesn't have anything to do with the football team, but it is related to East Tennessee heritage and culture, and so that's why that plays well. But for the most part, that's why my businesses are called Big Orange, whatever it is. This is why this is important. And actually, this is a good example here. This van right here is a U-Haul van. This is not a van that I would use for the purposes of doing an ice cream truck. And the reason I wouldn't use that van is for obvious reasons, because it looks like the kind of van that might sell you ice cream or might steal your children. And so when people see that van, they become a little leery of it, especially if you just get a white van. Now, guys, if this is what you can afford, you do the best you can with where you are, with what you have, okay? And you build up until you can find something better. But I would say to you this, we started with a minibus, and it was obnoxious. Orange, huge. It was decked out just like the Tennessee football team. It actually was a tailgating vehicle before we bought it. People went crazy for it. They loved it, and I have been told at least 100 times by parents and people in the neighborhood that said, the only reason that I allow my children to come to your van is because of the way it looks. And so picking the right van is really just about picking the right vehicle that doesn't look like a 80s, late 80s, early 90s bubbly Dodge kidnapper van. Really, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's the honest truth. Even if you have to get a van like that, make sure that you use your color scheme and your paint scheme and your graphics and stuff in a way that makes it stand out and makes it obvious that it's a safe vehicle, because parents are really super leery about that kind of thing. That will be a huge deterrent to your business, especially if you're just running around in neighborhoods, if your van looks like it's, you know, it's questionably suspicious or something like that. So that's the second thing. The third thing is find a distributor for prepackaged ice cream. This is a slash because finding a distributor, you also want to check with your local health department to make sure they don't have any specific regulations. The great thing about prepackaged, at least where I live and in most jurisdictions, is that you don't have to comply with most of the health department requirements that you would have to comply with if you were going to do like a coffee truck or some other type of truck where you prepare the stuff. So prepackaged is prepared in a factory. The state of Tennessee does not require any inspection whatsoever. We don't have to have a health permit. You need a business license and you need a distributor in order to get your ice cream at wholesale. And that's really all you need, okay? So the distributor is something you need to set up, and then in your area, the third step may be check with your local health department and make sure that you don't have any inspection requirements or anything that you need in order to be able to operate. And then the fourth thing that you need is a Facebook group or page, because the fact is that nobody really does ice cream trucks anymore. And you need to be able to put it out there. I couldn't tell you the number of times that we've been in neighborhoods over the last summer where people said, I haven't seen an ice cream truck here in 10 years that I've lived here. So you really just need a Facebook page. You need to build out your following. You need to let people know where you're gonna be, when you're gonna be there, that you're available for parties and that kind of thing. And the rest of it will take care of itself. The fifth and final thing you need is the ability to take credit cards. So you need to set yourself up with some sort of POS system. I use Square. Square Terminal is a great option. You can even use one of those little Square readers. You can get them for free. And as long as you can take credit cards. Now, bonus tip. The great thing about an ice cream business, specifically with prepackaged ice cream, is that the public is conditioned to pay cash because of the way that things used to be in the world. I would say if you're going to start a food truck business, you're going to have most of your transactions are going to be card. But with our business, it's 85% cash. People, for whatever reason, are conditioned to pay cash to the ice cream truck, and we don't argue with it. It is what it is. And then the last thing you need to do, it's not even a step, is to go out and put smiles on faces. The most awesome part about having an ice cream business is that everyone's happy when they see the ice cream truck. I've never been to a place in an ice cream truck where people are mad. Now, if you're available for parties and booking events and that kind of thing, inevitably you're gonna run into helicopter parents or high maintenance people that are hard to get along with. But when you're just driving the neighborhoods, if you do that as say 85 to 90% of your business, you're gonna run into maybe nobody who's not happy about the fact that you're there. Another cool thing to know about this is a perfect job for somebody that say is retired, has their pension, doesn't necessarily need to make a high level income, but just wants to do something. They're bored, maybe they love kids, they want to do something that makes people happy, that's low stress. This is perfect. Now, I'm not saying you can't make great money, because you can. You can expect to make, depending on your area and the prices, you could expect to make between $1,500 to $3,000 a week on average in an ice cream truck. Our ice cream truck averages between $2,000 and $2,500 a week, depending on whether we have a bunch of events, depending on whether there's a holiday or whatever. And in Tennessee, you get a short season. You get about 32 to 35 weeks that you can do that. So the problem with the ice cream business, though, is that you're running every day that you have pretty weather for 7 months straight. So you almost have to have the winters to reset. But it's a great seasonal business. Your margins are about 75% profit. This is the inside of the van. Right now we just got it wrapped. So we haven't finished the wiring stuff yet. Right now we're just kind of stuck together with surge protectors or whatever. But basically we're gonna have this little prep table right here. And then we got that window that I put in. And then we're just gonna have freezers there in the back. And you got tons of headspace here. And this van is perfect for this business. Now, the cool thing about this van is that if you're in the off season and maybe you can put, like, if you noticed on the side of mine, I've got like a checkerboard at the bottom and a canopy at the top. If you didn't have the canopy at the top, let's say just did the same design on the bottom and the same design on the top, you could actually just do the popsicles or something, or little polka dots maybe on the side in magnets and just pull them off. And you could actually use this van for cargo if you wanted to do a courier service, or you wanted to do something to do with a sprinter service. You could actually use it for dual purpose in the wintertime when you're shut down. So that's a great thing about having a van like this. So anyway, this is a low stress business. Everybody's happy, and compared to maybe your regular job or something else, it's just easier and it's more fun. But you can make good money. I mean, if you can either have a small fleet of trucks, you can have one truck, you can have a big fleet of trucks. You can make a ton of money doing this. I mean, we net out about $50,000 a year per truck, and that's great, you know. As far as hours go, you're going to be looking at probably 4 hours during the week a day, because you're going to want to hit the parks and the pools and maybe a few neighborhoods. But on the weekend, you're going to be, this is a 10 or 11 hour venture, because you're basically going to start before noon and you're going to go until dark. And that's when you make your money. I would say we average between $500 and $700 on the weekends, and between $200 and $300 during the weekday. Guys, that about wraps it up. I hope this has been helpful for you. We're going to be doing some more stuff, like talking to different food truck owners and kind of giving the audience a different idea. Maybe people who aren't interested in trucking at all that might want to start a food business. but this is the first sort of video about food. I hope you've found the content valuable. We just hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm so thankful to you guys. This is an amazing journey. I love being able to bring content that people enjoy. Don't be a negative Nancy in the comments, guys. I'm trying to tell you the truth. I don't want to tell anybody anything that might mislead them. So I'm going to tell you the truth. And if it's something where it's like 50-50 bad or good, I'm going to tell you the bad, because I want you to be prepared. There are just a lot of YouTubers that lie. I mean, that's just the way it is. There are just a lot of YouTubers. They just put out clickbait that they know you're going to click on to watch, because they're going to tell you that they made an obnoxious amount of money, and you can too, and it's not that hard. Please remember to like and subscribe and comment in the comment section. Hope you have a great day.